Chapter 2 Reading Freedom. Charlotte watched from the stable as Mr. Milshark walked up and down in front of the line of boys, beaming. The prospective parents followed him. Now and then they stopped to say a few words to one of the boys, but usually just to the younger ones. Charlotte had stopped lining up a long time ago. She was never considered for an adoption. Anyway, people want boy to help with their farms, or a son to carry on the family name, or they want some young and cute. Once, when Charlotte had been as cute as they come, a couple came through the kitchen with Mr. Milshark. The wife saw Charlotte standing on a stove washing dishes. Oh, I had been hoping for a girl, but they said there were only boys here, said the woman. She smiled at Charlotte with warm, come home with me eyes. With as much politeness as Charlotte could muster, she said, Yes, ma'am, it's boys, said me, and she smiled back at the woman. The woman walked over to her and took her soapy little hand. For for an instant, Charlotte hoped beyond hope, but Mrs. Boyle marched over and scooped Charlotte into her arms. This there my niece just helping out in the kitchen. She aimed for adoption. Come on, Charlotte, before Charlotte could say a word. Mr. Boyle carried her out the back door and took her to the garden to pick beans. After that, Mrs. Boyle hid her into the potatoes vein each time people came through, for fear, for fear of losing her kitchen maid. Charlotte remembered the dark crawled vein and lying on the limpy potatoes. She remembered peering through the cracks in the wooden slats at the people who came through. Sometimes Charlotte wanted to push open the lid and jump out and yell, I'm here, I would like a homie, take me. But more of them than not, Mr. Boyle sat on the top of the bin so Charlotte could boo, and Charlotte knew better than to make a peep until the people had gone. Charlotte went back to the horses. What would be the point of lining up with the boys anyway? Even though Mr. Boy couldn't hide her in the potatoes bin anymore. Nobody wanted almost grown girl. Freedom seeming horse. Bear humbered around her for an hour trying to figure out what was wrong. He just kept shaking his head, and Charlotte go a bad feeling deep inside. Later, as Charlotte served the soup at dinner, Howard whispered, We heard some go adopt. Maybe it will be William. Nah, said Charlotte. We ain't that lucky. Who do you think, Charlotte? Asked Hay, but Charlotte didn't answer. Any other time, she would be as noisy as the rest about it was, but all she could think about was freedom. As soon as she finished the dishes, she went back to the stable. She wanted to do something, anything to make freedom better. She sat next to the finally until well after mating when Bern finally sent her to bed. We won't know nothing till the morning, he said. Recently, Charlotte returned to her room. She tossed all night, anxious for morning, but she knew she couldn't check on the horses until after breakfast. Would she serve? Sweet freedom. She just has to make it. Charlotte tries to hurry through the Sunday morning dishes, but Mrs. Boyle would have none of that. Charlotte, don't you be giving those dishes a lick and a promise. Just scrub those pans until they're clean, she yelled. Charlotte thought she'd never finish. When she finally pulled out the kitchen door, Howard was waiting at the back steps. Let's go check on Freedom, said Charlotte, almost running. Charlotte, wait. I heard who's been adopted, said Howard as he hurries to keep up. Yeah? Was it one of the young ones? No, said Howard. He stopped right where he was and waiting for Charlotte to turn around and looking at him. Well, if I if it ain't William, I don't really care, said Charlotte. I don't care much about anything right now except freedom. You coming or not? Charlotte insisted. Yeah, I'm coming, he said. They hurried to the barn. Freedom's stall was empty. Bern must have moved her to the small corral to let her get some air, said Charlotte. They turned and started toward the pasture, but when Charlotte saw Bern walking toward her face told it all. The infection got to the best of her, Miss Charlotte. No, Charlotte clenched her hands. Me and some of the other boys boring her behind the south pasture, being out there all morning. She went real easy in her sleep. There was nothing we could do. Charlotte nodded. She squirreled his eyes, sighing. She was real nice horse, said Bern. Yes, said Charlotte, but she didn't cry. She never cried. Ain't no shame in mourning or loss, Miss Charlotte, he said. But Charlotte pretended she had heard him and walked over the stall and called to the stallion. He came over and nuzzled Charlotte's hands. You sure have a way with them horses, said Bern. Charlotte nodded and she stroked the horse's head. You go right ahead. I like them still if you mind to eat. You the best stable boy I got, said Bern. Sometimes I don't know what I'd do without you in here tending to these animals. You may right hand in this stable, Miss Charlotte. Charlotte forced a smile. A feeling scraped out into her throat and made it hard to swallow. She felt like she was on the verge of something. She tried to shake it off when she couldn't. She grabbed a rake and started working. She tried to concentrate on the clumsy, but all she could see was her last clumsy. She tried to concentrate on the raking, but all she could see was her last clumsy of freedom lying in the straw, breath heavy and her eyes closed. Charlotte, said Howard. She had forgotten about Howard. He had wanted to tell her something, but before she could ask, Mr. Milshark's stern voice startled her. Charlotte, he yelled. Charlotte couldn't remember Mr. Milkshake ever setting foot in the stables. Bern stopped up immediately, and Howard, who was even scared of Milkshake, Shadow fled to the stateroom to hide. Bern, just a few words with Charlotte, and it will be on my way, said Mr. Milshark as he turned to Charlotte. It's been brought to my attention that some of the townspeople don't think it's quite ladylike for you to be raising the boys. Our reputation here is of raising strong, strapping young men, and we can have folk calling our boys Molly Curls now, can we? You're getting close to being a younger lady, and you need to start cutting like one. From now, you will have full theories in the kitchen with Mr. Boyle. The stable is off limits to you. Bern looked up from his work. He never questioned Mr. Milchard, but he said, she is helping in the stable. She does the work of 3 of them boys, and she knows the horses as good as me. Is that so? Said Mr. Milchard. I heard that she rode a sick horse in the race yesterday, and that the horse died this morning. A young man couldn't have made such a foolish decision. She'll stay in the kitchen where she belongs. Mr. Milchard turned and left. Charlotte looked at Bern. She got a cold heart, Miss Charlotte, and you know you had nothing to do with freedom thing. I'm real sorry. Maybe he'll change his notion. Charlotte couldn't speak. She ran from the stable. She ran hard, without supporting towards the tree line behind the pasture. She hated this place. Mr. Milchard would never ever change his mind. Howard called after her, Charlotte, wait! She slammed against a tree and bent over to catch her breath. Howard caught up to her. Charlotte, you all right? I don't know, hey, stinking old Mr. Shark. I can't think of nothing worse than not working with the horses. I can't wait to leave this place. Whoever go adopt is lucky not to have to look at Mr. Milkshake's face even again. I've been trying to tell you, Charlotte. Howard looked down at the ground and drew a circle in the dirt with his boot. He didn't say anything, just kept looking at the dirt. Howard was going to you. It ain't William who go adopt. Well, you see, it's what's me. It's family from Nashua. Name is Clark. Their boy died, so they came here to get one to take his place, and that's me. I mean, this morning, and the lady kept patting me on the head, and the man kept calling me son. I guess they don't mind about my ears. Charlotte stared at the Howard like he was talking crazy talk. Surely it can't really be true. Why Howard was thanked. He couldn't leave now. They had planned. She took a deep breath and felt her stomach do a flip-flop. A voice came out of her mouth, but it sounded strange and shaky. That's real nice, hey. I asked them if they want a girl too, but I guess they don't. Charlotte looked out over the pasture and rolled his hands as if he were telling her some everyday news. Well then, will you leaving? She asked. Tomorrow morning. Charlotte nodded again. Tomorrow was Monday. They always help Bern soup the brick dolls on Monday. Of course, could still change their minds. Do you think they'll change their mind, Charlotte? Charlotte looked at the worried face. Getting a job was what every boy lived for. Even Charlotte had those dreams of a home, dreams of a family. At least Howard would be in a better place than the orphanage. She shook her head and reassured him. Nah, she reached out and ruffled his hair. You're just the one kind. Charlotte sat down under the maple. She felt like someone had soaked the white from her Her hands shook. She sat on them to keep them still. Howard sat down next to her. I will guide you, Charlotte. Then you'll be the only one here that gets letters. She looked at Howard. His ear stuck out hard from under his cap. Charlotte closed her eyes. She realized that she had been hoping for something for a long time. She'd been hoping Howard's ears would keep him at the orphanage forever. Charlotte, she opened her eyes and said calmly, I'm leaving too. Howard looked at her like she lost her mind. You can. You're not old enough. The last boy that ran off got caught and went overseas 2 more years past 16. Charlotte felt a determined anger welling up inside her. Howard, don't try to talk sense into me. You're leaving tomorrow. I can work with the horses. You know that Mr. Milcher will think of some reasons to keep me here forever. I ain't working in the kitchen for the rest of my days. You and me go plant. Howard jumped out. They'll find you, Charlotte. They always find the right ways. And Milcher, she's mean. He will punish you. He can if he doesn't catch me, said Charlotte. I just know I ain't staying here to deal with William and Milcher and old Mr. Boyle. Not without your freedom or the horses to keep me company. Now I go to think of a way. Charlotte knew that a young girl couldn't travel without a chaperone. She stood up and put her hands on her hips and paced around in a circle, staring at the ground. She kicked at the rock until it flew into air and landed into the pasture. She could need money to live, and when she got away, she go? She could need a job. Who will hear her? Don't do it, Charlotte. Charlotte looked at him. She looked at his hair shuffled under his cap, his oval hanging crumpled to one side. She already misses him, and he hadn't even gone yet. It was fair. None of it was fair. Not even that she couldn't travel alone. A young boy like Howard could travel around without question. As she considered this, a tendril of an idea began to wave itself around in her mind, and a plan began to take shape. I go to hate, she said, but I am going to need your help.